final day of the 2015 Young Stars Tournament. Home to the Penticton Vees, but it's been the home to the Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver Canucks, Winnipeg Jets, and Calgary Flames since about Friday, actually Thursday. Calgary or Vancouver got here and was able to practice, joined by Brian Munns. And today, Brian, I know results don't really matter, but if you're Winnipeg and Edmonton, well, the Oilers want to continue what's been happening for them, and the Jets would like to stop what's been happening to them.
No question, and you and I see pro hockey players on a daily basis, professional athletes for that matter, all the time, and that A-type personality wants to win no matter what they're doing. So Edmonton's been able to do that so far. They've had a really good tournament to this point. Came out guns a-blazing. You look at that first game and outscore the Vancouver Canucks by an 8-2 final. That was the game that Connor McDavid played, at a goal and an assist, and didn't disappoint everybody here in the Okanagan. Unfortunately, we won't see number 97 today. From a Winnipeg standpoint, they've only been able to score 5 goals in the tournament. And I know that, as you allude to, wins aren't everything, but just to make yourselves feel better, I think they want to do more in the offensive zone here today. So let's see if the 0-2 Jets can get on the board. Yeah, and it's the start of the doubleheader and the wrap-up of a tournament that began in 2010. You touched on the Edmonton Oilers, and well, everyone's been wanting to see Connor McDavid. I don't know if I've ever seen an event like this where so many people have come out to watch practice. Connor's been busy signing a lot of autographs. In fact, he's probably been signing more autographs than playing hockey. That's just the way the Edmonton Oilers have decided to schedule his appearances. So as a result, you won't see Connor McDavid in the lineup. And the Oilers, in fact, making a lot of changes, some of them late. Darnell Nurse and Joey Lalege have been the #1 pairing. Won't be in action. Some changes there on the blue line for Edmonton. And Greg Chase, a local kid who's starting to really make an impact in the Oilers organization, a late scratch. So he also will not be visible this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are watching this game on the ice. You come into an event like this, and there are some players that you know a lot about and you want to know more about. And then there's some that you may not know a lot about. Josh Winquist, an Edmonton area kid, grew up watching the Edmonton Oilers, enjoying the fact he's wearing the jersey, and he's starting to make a name for himself. Jake Virtanen with a big hit on Connor McDavid. Who's the first guy in there? It is Winquist. He's also shown the ability to put the puck in the back of the net, so he's had some great offensive flair. And Leon Draisaitl, 3rd overall pick in 2014, played in the tournament last year, had a couple of games in 2013, and now is getting a chance to play in it again. He's shown a physical side. He's also showing, well, a little bit of luck. Why not? Even the top draft picks have to have that going their way once in a while. So a couple of players for the Jets to watch out for today, Brian. I think Andrew Kopp, first of all, when you look at that #1 center position, Keith McCambridge is going to change things up with his forward unit. As I mentioned, having scored just 5 goals to this point in the first couple of games. Nikolai Ehlers is on that right side, and Michael Spacek gets elevated up onto that first unit as well. And then the 2 Portland Winterhawk teammates, Nick Petan and Chase DeLeo, will ride shotgun here today with Scott Kosmachuk. A few players in particular, if you want to get involved in that department, the most notable Jet, and you talk to many people not only around the Jets organization, but a number of National Hockey League scouts that have been here, say this guy has been the one. Ryan Olsen, a graduate of the Kelowna Rockets just down the highway in the Western Hockey League, has a number of friends and family in the building, and yeah, he can put up points, but he's really been physical. He's that thick player, and obviously wearing an assistant captain's A. Keith McCambridge and Mark Morrison like what he's been able to do in the offensive zone and make the other team accountable. And Eric Comrie will go 60 minutes here today. Took the second half of the game on Friday in their loss to the Calgary Flames. He was perfect in that hockey game, making 16 consecutive saves. Connor Hellebuyck played the whole game yesterday against Vancouver. It's Comrie today here against Edmonton.
It's a tournament that's had a lot of hype, a lot of attention. I'd say, Brian, to this point, it's lived up to it.
No question. And again, Connor McDavid not playing in today's game, but he's the one that everybody was really excited to see. Darnell Nurse will not play in this one today. So a couple of the top-end Edmonton players get a vacation here in the Okanagan while the rest of their teammates show their stuff. And this is a great chance for all these young players to make an impression because they want to be on the ice next weekend with the real National Hockey League superstars to get involved in training camp and move forward here into the upcoming season.
All right, and before the Oilers and Jets take care of business, we'll let Jesse Singleton take care of business as the young lady will sing for us our national anthem to kick off today's doubleheader. Great job, Jesse, to get us going. And as we look at the starting netminders for today's game, Eetu Laurikainen, who had a chance to play half of the Oilers' opening game to start this tournament, is expected to go the distance today on the part of Edmonton at the other end of the ice. We've touched on him already as one of those players to watch out for. I'm sure his brother Paul in Vancouver and brother Mike in Newport Beach will be certainly glued to their computers watching Eric, and we should say his father Bill as well, I'm sure, wanting to watch Eric and see how he does today for the Winnipeg Jets against the Edmonton Oilers. It is the 2-0 Oilers facing the 0-2 Winnipeg Jets. A bunch of stars maybe not in the lineup for the Oilers, but there are still some young stars to watch as we are underway. Kyle Platzer with the opening draw and the opening victory. Ethan Bear will dump that in, and Comrie with his first touch. Yuri Frank along the boards, can't quite handle that pass from Kostelik. Connor Rankin pushed into the end boards, back to the point it goes. Waltz the shot, and Eric Comrie, 21 seconds in, will make his first stop of the day.
Well, for Comrie, coming off that 16-save performance on Friday against the Calgary Flames in the second half, all goalies will tell you they like to feel the puck early, and he was able to see it long distance from the left point, so that'll help out in the confidence factor here for the young 20-year-old.
Well, Keith McCambridge, 21 seconds in, deciding time for a change. The Oilers staying with the unit that started the game, including Kyle Platzer, who's had his second consecutive good Young Stars tournament. Rankin can't quite control it, kind of bouncing around. Actually, today the weather in Penticton is a little bit cooler, but it has been high 20s, and they've done a good job keeping the ice as usable as possible. Nelson Nogier, cross ice pass, the bullet off the boards, and Josh Morrissey is able to collect, and now it is Ethan Bear, a 5th round pick this past summer on the part of the Edmonton Oilers, and our first bit of contact as Nogier runs into Rankin. And Josh Morrissey, I tell you, he's put on a beard since I last saw him. I barely recognized him when I saw him down in and around, as the players often play soccer and other ways to warm up, and someone said, that's Josh Morris. I thought, wow, he's really grown up in the last year.
Well, he's a veteran player in this tournament, right? You need to play the role. You need to come in, make yourself feel like you belong, and know exactly what to expect.
Yeah, even though he's one of the true young stars of the tournament, he just looks a little bit older. Here come the Jets. Nick Patan, cross ice pass, shot, and that doesn't quite get through. Good opportunity there on the part of Peter Stojkovic as he jumped into the play, and one of two Winnipeggers playing today for the Jets.
Yeah, and his first opportunity to play in the tournament here, and when you look at the defensive play, Caleb Jones, an 18-year-old, getting his stick in there to help out Laurikainen in goal. So at the end of the ice, the Edmonton Oilers really able to avoid the first scoring chance here for Winnipeg.
Kevin Davis getting a chance to play as well for a first time in the Young Stars tournament. Teamed up with Caleb Jones, yes, the younger brother of Seth Jones, and another one of those picks from this past summer's draft. Oh, chance out front for Josh Winquist and the Edmonton Oilers. Courtesy of a hooking call, it looks like, on Ryan Olsen, will get their first man advantage of the day.
And Edmonton's had the most success this week on the power play, scoring 3 times in the 2 affairs that they've been involved with. Ryan Olsen, though, making the hook in the defensive end right here, and he had to take Winquist down because, boy, Josh has been brilliant this week. Leads the Oilers with 3 goals coming in here in those first 2 games and has made a name for himself. He's had an impressionable game, and now look at this. He'll quarterback the power play from the left point.
Yeah, the Edmonton Oilers, Brian, in this tournament have almost exclusively gone with 4 forwards and 1 defense on the blue line. It is something that they've done at the NHL level thanks to the abundance of talent they have up front. But it's something they've tried and stayed with through the start of this tournament. Leon Draisaitl, a late addition. In fact, Leon was expected to have the day off, but with the late scratch of Greg Chase, Draisaitl moving in, and I'm sure he's happy about that, and the fact he's wearing the C as well in his 3rd game of this tournament, replacing Darnell Nurse when it comes to the captaincy. Draisaitl, nice little pass out front, shot, save. Braden Christopher just hopped out front, but Eric Comrie with a nice job to make sure that Christopher didn't get the opening goal, as he did a couple of nights ago when the Oilers defeated the Vancouver Canucks 8-2. Kyle Platzer waiting for a little bit of help, now has it. Cole Sanford in the corner, and the Jets will just get enough of it to get it out of their own zone. Ben Betker, easy to spot at 6'5". Maybe switching spots here as Platzer back on the blue line. Platzer, Betker, Sanford, and others work on it, but it's DeLeo that ends up sending it down the ice, and it looks like we've got our 2nd penalty of the hockey game.
Chase DeLeo, I think, is going to get nailed here on the slash, or will it be him? No, they're actually going to call Platzer. DeLeo slashed Platzer's stick, broke it in half. He took a look back, and then Platzer retaliated, and he's the one that gets the 2-minute infraction here today. Mike Langen and Chris Schlenker, by the way, are the referees. So that'll do it for the final 29 seconds of the remaining power play. Little tit for tat, and we'll play 4-on-4 here for a half minute.
As Braden Christopher, oh, he's got wheels, gets taken down, and the linesman goes down as well. We had a photographer go down in the warm-up.
Yeah.
So the ice might be a little slippery after a doubleheader on Friday and then single game Saturday and Sunday. Shot by Harkins, and that goes wide. The last name, a familiar one. Uncle and father playing in the NHL. Now it's Olsen out of the box, so it is a man advantage for the Jets. And there's Harkins, Father Todd, Uncle Brett. I'm sure many family and friends who aren't here are watching this online as these games are being streamed. Petan coming in, sets it up out front. Net was wide open, but none of the Jets could get a touch on it. Harkins being one of them. Cross ice pass, Nick Petan. Cross ice back to Harkins. You don't often see that. Marcus Karlstrom at the point with Stojkovic. And Nick Petan, who's just a master when it comes to setting up his teammates. Now waiting for a return pass. Shot by Petan, that goes off a stick, off Laurikainen, then it's swept away. The Jets will keep it in at least temporarily, well, maybe even longer. Petan the shot, and Laurikainen gets that off the shoulder. Great power play by Winnipeg. Now another deflection attempt out front. Frank mishandles it, but gets it back. 20 seconds left in a power play that's been very effective, thanks to a lot of work by Nick Petan. Shot Laurikainen as Petan sets up Karlstrom for about the 3rd or 4th very good opportunity on the part of the Jets.
Well, you see over the last 4 years why with the Portland Winterhawks, Nick Petan has been able to put up 247 assists. What a job in the offensive zone. He was on the power play for the entire 90 seconds that the Jets had to work. There's 12 seconds left here in the minor penalty right now to Kyle Platzer, but a dominating performance by number 38.
Yeah, Penticton once had 78 assists in a season and 2 times 74 assists. Shot by Betker, that doesn't get through. And Platzer is back on the ice. He's got a stick and he's got action going with Loic Levay. Levay, a late addition after the subtraction of Nurse and LaLeggia. Captain with Cape Breton, coming off a 68-point season in the QMJHL. A free agent kid getting a look, and the Oilers liking what they see so far.
And you mentioned Darnell Nurse not in action here today. He'll be joining us upstairs in our second intermission. So if you're looking forward to hearing from Darnell Nurse, stick around.
Tom Gazzola will be doing that interview. If I'm Tom, I'm not asking Darnell to go. Unless he's going out for supper.
Tell you what, Seamus Anderson was the player that wanted to go with him in that Calgary Flames game. And let's be blunt, it was over quick. Darnell knew what he was doing in that department there and got the judge's decision quickly.
In fact, Darnell's saying to Anderson, "You sure you want to go?" And he said yes. Give the kid credit for going, because Darnell Nurse, whose favorite player is Chris Pronger growing up. I mean, I'm not saying he's Chris Pronger, because Chris is in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he has some of those attributes, and we'll hear more from him, as Brian said, coming up a little later on today. Puck bounced off the boards, kept in at the point. Shot goes off a stick of Richard Buchards, one of 8 invitees. Nice pass out front. Laura Kynan the save. Back out front it goes. And the Winnipeg Jets will open up the scoring as the pressure leads to a goal by Andrew Kopp.
Kopp showing great presence in the offensive zone, knowing where he needed to be and waiting for that bouncing puck to find its way onto his stick, and he's able to pick up his first point of the weekend. He had 4 shots combined in those games against Vancouver and Calgary, and here's another look at it. Kopp's the one that makes it all happen. Great centering feed as Scott Kosmachuk found him, and then along with Michael Spacek, those guys are able to play it. Actually, it's Nikolai Ehlers in behind the goal, and all 3 forwards will find a point on the Jets' game's opening marker.
Somebody call the cops. Andrew just scored.
You've been waiting all weekend, haven't you?
They write themselves, Brian. They write themselves. I just read them. Andrew Kopp out of the University of Michigan. And one of those players, Brian, you'd know more about this than I, but everything I read suggests he may have a chance of playing for the Winnipeg Jets at some point this season. And here comes Penticton with Chase DeLeo. Colton Waltz along with DeLeo, and there's Penticton knocked off the puck. And I mean, I don't think anyone will question Nick Penticton's energy or passion. Of course, size has been a factor for him, but he's never let it bother him before, and I don't think the Jets believe it'll be a problem at the NHL level once he gets accustomed to it. Flying through the zone come the Winnipeg Jets, but here's Rankin coming back for Edmonton. Drop pass, LeVay mishandles, shipped along the boards. I tell you one thing, Brian, the Oilers defensemen have been very active all tournament long, and again, you see Betker behind the net. It's not only on rushes up and down the ice, sometimes even when they get set up.
Well, and that's why they've had success in the offensive zone so far this week. The 8 they had against Vancouver, and continue to play well offensively against the Calgary Flames. It's one area that you've got to think right now the coaching staff is enjoying, based on the fact especially that these teams really haven't practiced much together. They haven't had a long time to do special teams or anything like that. It's more or less just come out, get involved, and right now it's been a good start.
There's a look at Josh Morrissey, who knows a thing or two about activating. Draisaitl shot and saved by Eric Comrie. It's Draisaitl with the steal and the chance, but the save on the part of the Jets netminder.
For those of you keeping track at home, 6:46, the time of the game's opening goal, and Andrew Kopp does get the marker for the Jets. Ehlers and Spacek with the assists, and you referenced the future here for Andrew Kopp. Right now, he would be penciled in as the number 4 setter, with Jim Slater moving on after 10 years in the organization.
Long lead pass, O'Donnell waiting, spinning, shooting. It doesn't get through as it goes off Davis. Good patience by O'Donnell, but couldn't quite get it through, and I guess credit Davis as well for being just as patient. Soy can't get to it, and Davis sends it up ice to Marco Roy. Marco Roy, we got a Soy, S-O-Y. He's not Swa. He's Soy. Here's Olsen coming back, trying to get out front. Stolen. Oh, good chance. And Laura Kynan didn't know where it was, but luckily just missed the post. And there's Waugh, former second-round pick on the part of the Oilers with Draisaitl. Pass to Soy, looks for Waugh, doesn't get through, but then goes off the side of the net. Back out front to Draisaitl, and that goes wide of Comrie. Soy, Draisaitl, Waugh, circling, applying some pressure to the Jets. Draisaitl out front. Ooh, good chance for Caleb Jones as Leon Draisaitl picked up the stick of Olsen. Jets coming back as this one is going end to end right now on the part of these two teams. Nelson Nogier will keep that in as Winnipeg trying to reply with some pressure. Braden Christopher will get it out, and here comes Nick Ehlers. Ehlers, cross ice pass. Oh, what a pass by Ehlers, and the finish by Cobb. And Winnipeg jumping into a 2-0 lead.
Head coach Keith McCambridge coming into today's game not having much offense in the first two, so decided to juggle the lines, and boy, these three have put on a show so far through the first 10 minutes and 6 seconds of the opening period. Ehlers bursting in on the right wing, and fake slap shot pass right onto the tape, and no problem. Kopp will put it home for his second of the day, and it's 2-0 Winnipeg on 9 shots.
So Edmonton trailed a couple of nights ago against Calgary 2-0, and we talked about the Jets. The Jets had only 2 goals in their first couple of games, and now they've got 2 in the first 10 minutes of this game. So Keith McCambridge must have been talking, and the players must have been listening, because they've come out, and even I was reading some stuff on Nick Ehlers. People were suggesting after a great tournament last year, 3 goals, that he hadn't had a point. Well, he's got a point, and it was a beauty. Here comes Christopher. Going in on goal, tried to get it cross in front. Instead, Betker with the shot, and that's deflected by Alexis Loiseau. Winnipeg's come out here trying to make a point against the only undefeated team in the tournament, as Ben Betker is back to get it. Icing on the play, so we will not go to our, would it be internet timeout, I guess?
Yes, our friends at Sport Check are eagerly anticipating.
Yeah, title sponsor.
10:08, the time of the second Winnipeg goal, and all 3 players who were in on the first goal in on the second as well. Kopp from Ehlers and Spot Check.
Well, thanks to Sport Check, my kids don't go to school in socks. Got runners, good deals heading into the school year, as many people have their kids headed back to school. And these kids, many of them hoping they're headed back to Edmonton or Winnipeg and potentially training camps. Shot goes wide of Comrie. There's Betker again, keeping it in. Winquist along with Loiseau and Slepyshev, Anton Slepyshev, who has a goal in this tournament. 3rd-round pick on the part of the Oilers a couple of years ago. Same round, they got Bogdan Yakimov, who was in this tournament last year. Steele now. Back to the point. Shot by Morrissey, doesn't get through. You know, and I think, Brian, the Winnipeg Jets didn't score on that power play, but they will score. No, it's being waved off. Laura Kynan makes that save. The red light went on, but the referee waved it off. They keep coming, the Jets. They may get 3 goals on this shift the way it's going.
Go back and take a look here as A2 Laura Kynan, even you saw his shoulders drop on the one-time shot that came out. Yuri Frank took a look. Maybe we'll get a better angle here out of the right corner camera. You just hit the bottom of the net, one right in the middle, didn't it?
I gotta say, I need glasses, so I'm not a good reference point. But while we try and figure it out, as mentioned, our title sponsor, Sport Check, for the 2015 Young Stars Tournament in Penticton.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you. And they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down? Make an excuse? Let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up and get to work?
Andrew Kopp has a pair of goals with the Winnipeg Jets in front of the Edmonton Oilers by a score of 2-0. Scored 14 last year at the University of Michigan, so it's been good for him so far here today. Jets still believe they're up 3. The officials converged during the timeout. Let's take a look again at the centering feed, the one-timer, and the low shot.
Oh, it's in.
Yeah, it went right between his legs. It's
Great
in the
job
net.
to the crew. Great job, crew, because, I mean, you couldn't really see. I mean, the ref's right there. I mean, Laura Kynan couldn't have reacted more, like it was behind him and in, and then one goes off the crossbar.
Fortunately, this game means nothing.
Yeah. Well, they're going to call the war room in Toronto, but nobody's there.
That's right.
Just keep ringing. Hi, you've reached the war room in Toronto. We're not in right now.
Currently on the third hole.
Well, it means something to Yuri Frank, so hopefully the Jets themselves will internally give him credit for a bullet of a shot and a goal. Rankin back to Jones. That's deflected out front. And Comrie was there just in case. And here comes Frank, who we think had a goal.
Oh, we know he had it. He just didn't get credit
Just doesn't
for it.
count.
Scored 29 last year with Cedar Rapids in the U.S. Hockey League. 21-year-old out of the Czech Republic. So it's 2 or 3-0, however you want to look at it. Ish.
O'Donnell out front. Olsen can't quite corral it. Laura Kynan will make the stop as the Winnipeg Jets are, wow. I mean, it's an early start, but they've had, it's almost like a night game the way they're going already today, Brian.
Yeah, it's the best period we've seen them play so far here, and they've already been able to put 12 shots on that man in the Edmonton crease, who has been busy to say the least. He's been perfect so far coming in. He made 17 out of 17 saves in the time that he played earlier on, but has had 2 get by him here on 12.
Now, not to belabor the point, but I wonder if the officials would look at that in the intermission. I'm not sure they would. I'm not sure if someone would say, hey, those guys streaming the game slowed it down and showed that the puck went in. We'll wait and see. Draisaitl behind the net. Stojkovic has got him pinned, but Draisaitl able to get it out. Colton Waltz back with Ethan Bear. Hit along the boards. Draisaitl getting involved. Olsen getting involved. You know he does that very well for Winnipeg.
Quite the conversation between Olsen and Draisaitl as they make their way to the bench.
Waltz is in, but has his pass intercepted. Watch out for Nick Ehlers. Ehlers waiting, back out front, backhand save as Kopp was one shot away from a natural hat trick in the opening 14 minutes of this game.
What a setup, what a burst of speed by Ehlers.
Maybe
he's
Ehlers
come to play today.
Yeah, maybe he was reading the same article I read. Boy, Nick Ehlers, who was incredibly impressive last year with those 3 goals, looks fantastic this morning.
Ehlers and Kopp are 2 players that have a legitimate opportunity to be with the Jets this year, and maybe Keith McCambridge seeing something here that Paul Maurice will like when the big boys all get going on Friday at MTS Iceplex to begin training camp.
Well, we've got
Jan Kosteluk just took a vicious cross check from the Oilers 76.
Betker.
Ben Betker let him have it. And Kosteluk right now down on the ice and being attended to. Officials will converge right in the neutral zone.
Oh yeah, they kind of.
It's more of an elbow.
Yeah, they kind of run into each other. I don't want to put in words into Ben Betker's mind as to what he had intention-wise. There looked to be more incidental contact, but
yeah,
it still leads to the same result for Kosteluk.
13-5 the shots on goal right now. Jets in front of the Oilers, and Kosteluk will slowly get up and make his way As they open the door, he'll go right down the tunnel. And this is the one thing you don't want to see, Gene, for any hockey club, and especially for the players involved here, is some kind of an injury that could hamper their chances early on in the year, when this is when everyone wants to be at their best and trying to make an impression on team management.
Well, 6'6", 228 is Betker, and you hit the nail on the head regarding injuries. Calgary Flames' first 2 games, they've had to finish each of them with only 5 defensemen, and Ryan Culkin, 6 to 8 weeks, is out after injuring his shoulder. Pass out front, Laurikainen with the save. Josh Winquist has to take down one of the Winnipeg Jets, Chase DeLeo, otherwise it might have been another goal for Winnipeg.
Yeah, just a penalty that he felt he needed to take, no question about it. Second trip to the penalty box for him here in the hockey game. And with a 2-0 lead, the Jets here, and as we almost reach the quarter pole now of this opening period, will try and make it 3-0. Nick Penticton again dancing with that puck in the right wing corner. He's been really good. Here's a chance right off the draw, but they're going to blow it down. Scott Kosmachuk will go, Gene, and that'll do it for the power play. That lasted 3 seconds.
1, 2, 3, over.
Done.
It's done. There goes the power play. And I tell you what, the Winnipeg Jets must have eaten their Wheaties. They may have eaten the Oilers' Wheaties as well, the way it's going so far.
They've had the start so far.
So Edmonton with 5 shots and looking to try and mount a little bit more offensively against Eric Comrie and the Winnipeg Jets. Some open ice here. We've got 4-on-4 hockey, 15 minutes into this opening period. Brian Munns along with Gene Principe. First game of 2 on the day to wrap up the 2015 Young Stars tournament. A couple of names you won't hear today, certainly not on the ice. McDavid and Nurse not playing for the Oilers. Jones, Caleb Jones, drop pass, Rankin the shot. Ooh, nice glove save by Eric Comrie.
Comrie way out of the top of the crease to challenge. You can see the confidence that he has right now, coming out, making sure that there is no extra net for Rankin to try and pull the trigger on. Comrie perfect now on the 6 offerings that have come his way, and he will go the entire distance here this afternoon, with Connor Hellebuck playing the full game yesterday against Vancouver.
Yeah, what
and
a
playing
game by
extremely
him.
well.
It's not often. 4-1 was the final.
Yep.
And yet he was the talk of the game, considering how busy he was and how well he played.
Hellebuck stopping 49 of 54 on the weekend, which translates to a .915 save percentage. That's a good opening impression for him. And that's the one area that this Winnipeg Hockey Club has really been able to flourish in the last couple of years. And the 2 netminders here in Penticton will be the 2 goalies this year in the AHL with the Manitoba Moose.
Draisaitl goes cross ice, and Ethan Bear gets to it, but doesn't get much on it. Nick Ehlers, who's had a whale of a start. He's got rockets coming out of his skates. I know Kelowna's just down the road, but it's incredible the way he's played so far. Olsen, Stojkovic's shot, and Laurikainen will make that save. Goes up off the glass and into the mesh.
Last shot by the man in the corner there, Peter Stojkovic, getting a chance to play for the first time in the tournament. 23-year-old out of Winnipeg. Coming off 4 years at Colorado College. Played 2 years in the MJ with the Winnipeg Blues. And is now looking forward to his pro career. He wants to be a Moose in Winnipeg. Is part of that generation now that grew up watching the Moose and not the Jets of version 1.0.
7th round pick, 199 in 2010 by the Atlanta Thrashers. Yeah, go way back when you were drafted by the former reincarnation of this franchise.
Winquist is out, back to 5-on-5 now.
So 4-on-4 was wide open. 5-on-5 is where we are now. A trip behind the net allows the Oilers to control. Betker cross to LeVay, back to Betker. That's stolen. And Kosmachuk as it hop over his stick. Otherwise, he might have had a partial, if not full breakaway.
Getting down to the last few minutes here of the opening period, coming up after 20. Winnipeg Jets assistant GM and Vice President of Hockey Operations, also the General Manager of the Moose in the AHL, Craig Heisinger, will drop by, get his thoughts on the tournament to this point.
We need to give Zinger another title, Dad. He'll need 2 business cards.
Yes. So Zinger's coming up after 1, and also you'll see a feature with Leon Draisaitl. And we'll take you back, show you the goals that we've seen here today, both off the stick of Andrew Kopp.
Christopher, the shot fans on it. Stojkovic plays him off the puck. Caleb Jones again involved. And there's Stojkovic along with Olsen. Stolen by Bucharts to the point. Jones dancing. Nice pass across. Bucharts. Oh, that gets off his skate, but Bucharts has it again after a strong feed by Cole Lineker. Bucharts the shot. That doesn't get through as Olsen blocks it. Here come the Oilers a little bit. Christopher to Bucharts. Oh, out front. That's just tipped wide. Oh, Cole Lineker went into the net, but the puck didn't, as the Oilers inches away from getting their first on the day.
Penalty coming up to Jones back in behind play, I believe. And yes, he threw the cross-check, Gene. Here's that scoring chance. And Josh Morrissey able to knock him off balance at the last second. As you allude to, Lineker goes across the goal line himself. But Morrissey just gets enough of him to save the goal as there was room back door. Jones will sit down for the next couple of minutes. Jets get their 3rd power play of the day. This will be a penalty that the Edmonton staff won't be very happy about. It was away from play, and there was some chirping between players, and Jones took the late shot, cross-checked him in the back of the head, and referee Chris Schlenker was right there and nailed him on the call.
Yeah, especially when Edmonton had their best maybe 2 minutes of the hockey game. Petan going out wide. Good defensive play there on the part of Waltz as he slapped it away from DeLeo. Here comes Platzer. Oh, nice move by Platzer, but helped by Morrissey. Makes certain that that isn't a more dangerous chance on the part of the Oilers centerman. Now it's 1-on-3, and Platzer doing a pretty good job wasting time, actually a very good job. Gets a little round of applause. Morrissey and Platzer pushing as they head towards their respective benches. We're into the final minute. Nick Ehlers circling, making his way through. Gets dumped by Platzer. Ehlers is okay. Petan to Ehlers and Morrissey. You might be seeing that at the NHL level on the power play.
Not far away.
Morrissey's got it back, slides it over to Petan. Less than 30 seconds left in the period, 40 in the power play. Ehlers out front, saved by Laura Kynan, and then a mess of players on top of the Oilers netminder.
Once again, Jets on this 3rd power play of the day, having some sustained time in the offensive zone. Haven't been able to capitalize. They've only got the 1 goal yesterday that Josh Morrissey scored in the loss to Vancouver. But here's a look at the last couple of seconds, some of the big things. And this might be the one area that Nikolai Ehlers will still have to contend with when he gets to the next level, is he can't do it all by himself. But then when he's down low along the goal line, he can make that sweet play. And you can see players in the crease area trying to force it through. But Laura Kynin's able to keep it on this side of the goal line. Game remains 2-0 right now for Winnipeg. And just a tad under 16 seconds remaining.
Chase DeLeo with that chance. We'll have another penalty coming up as Colton Waltz took an errant stick right in the face, and we'll have to wait to see which Jet it was that hit him. Is that Jimmy Lodge?
Jimmy Lodge. So that'll do it for the power play. 23 seconds was remaining in it. 4-on-4 to finish off the opening period. Gene, lots of skating room. And you just can't put your stick in the guy's face.
Yeah, Lodge was
fairly simple.
Yeah, pretty upset with himself for doing that. Important face-off here. Oilers with 3 forwards. Platzer the shot as it was won by Draisaitl. That goes wide. Scores! Shot by Kevin Davis and the tip by Alexei Loiseau. And with 3.8 seconds left on the clock, the Oilers are on the board.
Loiseau in the perfect position for the Oilers to cut the deficit in half here and give them something to build on moving into that second period. As we take another look at it, 4-on-4 does result in a lot of play. Platzer with that initial shot sails it wide, but off the side wall. Good shot. Beats Eric Comrie high to the glove side. You know what? I don't think
he tipped it.
I don't think
You're
he
right.
did touch it. I think it comes right off the initial shot on the far side boards.
Yeah, we'll get that sorted out. To me, it looked like it was deflected originally, but maybe Kevin Davis.
In the building, they're announcing Loiseau touches it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did, though. We'll take another look. We'll let you see it as our first intermission gets underway here in Penticton. And also, we'll talk with the assistant GM of the Winnipeg Jets, Craig Heisinger.
Either way, it's 2-1, and either way, our title sponsor is Sport Check for the 2015 Young Stars Tournament in Penticton.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours, and it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
My mindset is a little different. You know, obviously I want to be, or I am a pass-first guy, but I think I worked on my shot a lot this summer, and you know, I want to get to use that more, and also I think my speed. I think that part of my game got better over the summer. So I hope I can bring that to the team.
Now an opportunity for Draisaitl. He walks his man. Draisaitl back, he's taken down, and we have got another penalty shot. Draisaitl for the lead, scores!
I think it's a pretty competitive tournament, and I think we all go there to win. I think it's a good chance to get into game shape for sure. I mean, you know, you want to get into that game shape as early as you possibly can, and you know, this is a good opportunity to get into that shape. So getting to know new guys, new faces that you haven't met before, and so yeah, like I said, it's always fun.
Perron out in front, quick shot, Draisaitl, another chance, he scores! Leon Draisaitl, his first National Hockey League goal!
Leon Draisaitl, is it possible we'd see him at both wing and at center during preseason?
There's a chance that can happen, and he might love to be on one of their wings and playing in the top six rather than maybe being that third-line center. And one of the things that impressed me the most about Leon is his ability to play on his backhand.
I want to play on this team, no matter what role or what position. I would be fine with that. It definitely is an adjustment. It's a different role. It's a different. You have different timings and stuff like that. And I mean, obviously, I think about it. And I'm definitely ready to go for the season.
I know I'm very excited for it. I know it's going to be my first time playing in at least a professional, more like tournament, and it's going to be, you know, I'm very excited. You know, I got some family coming out, so it's going to be good. No, it's very special. You know, I really, you know, I don't take that for granted. You know, if someone wants to talk to me or something, ask a few questions, you know, I talk to them and I listen. You know, it wasn't also easy for me. You know, I went through some difficulties, but you know, I think hockey really helped me out. You know, it's my passion, it's something I like, so I just say, do something you like, and if you enjoy it, stick to it. Yeah, I know they made a few trades, and especially with Connor McDavid, going first overall. I know it's exciting to be picked with the Oilers, and I'm really excited for this and excited for the development camps and all the other stuff. So it's going to be great. I know he's also he's a good player. I know he has a lot of skills, so I know I guess get the puck to him and just be open all the time. So I know he's a good player, and it's exciting to play in the same team. I'm a really well-rounded guy. I'm a two-way puck-moving defenseman. I can move the puck while I skate well, and I can shoot the puck. So, I'll expect me to be in a rush, and I'll hit my own zone.
After 20 minutes of play here in Penticton, Brian Munns, Gene Principe back with you as the Jets and Oilers play their final 2 games of this 3-game event. The Calgary Flames and Vancouver Canucks still to come later on this afternoon. Greg Heisinger joins us to give us his impressions of the weekend to this point. And Singer, probably the best period that your team has played so far. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, we haven't played a lot of good periods here, so yeah, I thought we were good. I think we should arguably be up 3-1 versus 2-1. Somehow the refs missed that one that went in the middle of the net, but those things happen, and apparently the goal judge wasn't a factor either in their analysis. So that's the way it goes.
Video replay next year. We'll bring it all in. Toronto, the War Room.
Well, the fact that it didn't get shown on the Jumbotron pretty much told the story that it went in.
Andrew Kopp has the 2 goals that they've counted for your club today, both set up by Nikolai Ehlers and Michael Spacek. And Keith McCambridge made that change, decided to put those 3 together for this afternoon's affair. What have you seen from those 3 players?
Well, they've obviously been real good today. I think Kopp's had some chances in the previous games that he didn't convert on. So for him to get a couple of goals today was good. 2 real good plays by Ehlers, one behind the net, one with the fake shot. But certainly Michael Spacek's fit in well, kind of on his offside there. So it's been rewarding for those 3.
When you look at this tournament, and you've been through it now for a few years, how big is it just to see what these players can do against other teams this early in camp, where they don't have to worry about just banging themselves and any injuries amongst their teammates?
There's no negatives to this tournament. I mean, we were a late addition when we rejoined the National Hockey League. The Canucks were kind enough to let us in, but you think back about the players that are currently on the Jets roster that have come through this tournament, Trouba, Scheifele, Adam Lowry, and at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters how you play here. It's the beginning of the process. Adam Lowry really sticks out for me how poor he was in this tournament. Certainly not how good he was in, and it gives you a measuring stick for different players. I mean, we all learned a lot from that experience. Not meaning players, but I mean management from that perspective. And this is where you learn where you fit. You're all good players when you get here, but you learn that there's a lot of work ahead of you. You don't have, I would say, sometimes you don't have the success in this tournament that you think you're just going to roll in and have, and it begins the learning and development curve, which is real important.
And the development side of it for your 2 goaltenders, Rick St. Croix and Wade Flaherty, have had a chance to watch both Hellebuyck and Comrie. It was the full game for Hellebuyck yesterday, and Eric Comrie's looked good here on the few chances that have come his way so far.
Yeah, well, there's certainly been lots of opportunity for the goaltenders to look good, so they've taken full advantage of that, but they both played real well, yes.
Appreciate the time here. We'll look forward to main camp coming up later on in the week. Thanks for doing this.
Great, thanks a lot.
Greg Heisinger joining us here in Penticton, taking a look at his team that has a 2-1 lead, getting ready for the second period, which is just around the corner.
Hello and welcome inside Sport Chek's flagship location at West Edmonton Mall. The summer is starting to come to a close. That means kids are on the ice. That means people are ramping up their fitness. And that means Oilers TV brings you the Sweat for This video series. And for that, we lean on the expertise of the Oilers Director of High Performance, Simon Bennett. Simon, first of all, thank you for doing this. What's going on, and what are we going to focus on today? Because this is a series where we're going to look at how to help not only a hockey player, but the everyday person that's looking to improve their fitness, correct?
Absolutely. This is not exclusive to high performance. This is anybody can benefit from the exercises and the stuff that we're going to talk about today in each of the individual segments. But it's been a very long summer, and we've had a lot going on. But I'm really excited about doing these segments and being able to share this knowledge with the viewing public.
Now, all right, in the first part of this series, Simon, we're gonna start with the core, and why to you is the core vital to begin with, and what are maybe some misconceptions with the core that we need to kind of hash out with people?
Yeah, what's interesting about core and core strength is that a lot of people assume it's a conditioning issue, when in fact it's actually more of a timing issue. And so that's something that we want to talk about in the segment, is just how we can do things through breathing to try to correct core stability and improve core strength just by virtue of creating a relaxation response within the body. So I'm very excited about being able to show you how we can use breathing techniques to actually facilitate an improvement in core strength.
Simon, let's put words into action.
Absolutely, let's go out and do it.
Okay, we're talking about breathing and how it can help improve core function and core control. So the exercise that we're going to show you today is something called box breathing. So what we want to focus on with box breathing is making sure that as we're going through this, we're actually breathing through the nose. So in an effort to breathe through the nose, we're actually going to be able to stimulate more of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. So what I want you to do is just find yourself a spot down on the floor so that you're nice and comfortable, legs extended. Just drop your head back, get nice and relaxed. Place your right hand on your belly button and your left hand up on your chest. And then we're going to draw a breath in for a 5 count. So as we inhale for 5, we should see our bellies rising. And then once we've achieved 5 seconds, we're going to then hold for 5. And then we're going to exhale out for 5. And as we're exhaling, we should feel that belly button falling back towards the spine. Once the 5 seconds have completed, then we're going to hold for another 5. And then we'll start to begin to draw our breath back in, and where we're noting that the belly is actually rising again. So what's really important about this is the fact that we're actually stimulating the diaphragm. So we would call this belly breathing. And when we stimulate the diaphragm, we're actually relaxing a lot of the fibers through the hips. And as we relax the fibers through the hips, we actually allow the core and the hips to work more effectively, building more core control and more core stability. So I want you to give this exercise a try at home. You should be able to actually execute it for around 3 to 4 minutes. After 3 to 4 minutes, you should notice a dramatic change in how you feel. The biggest response should be one of relaxation. From the relaxation, it's going to allow the body to work better as a unit, strengthening your core, providing with better stability. Give this a try at home.
The guys to the grocery store. We taught them about the right things to buy, what they're looking for, and convenience products for them. These guys have to consume a lot of calories every day, and we want to make sure they're buying the right foods for them, providing the right fuel they need to perform.
We should honestly just make craft dinner. Maybe smarter than the cart, Joe.
Okay.
Is that not how you do it?
Yeah, I think we gotta take.
Oh. Okay. Stop picking up. I gotta get my fruits and vegetables at the hotel. All I've got is apples and bananas. I haven't had much time to free range. I think with fruit though, like fruit would be so good. What's our salad? Well, you know what we could do is we could scratch that and go with spinach and arugula, and then put raspberries, blueberries, strawberries on it. Roast some nuts. He loves it. Roast some nuts. We can goat cheese. We could really go all out with a salad. We could win the salad.
Hmm?
Is this part of the order?
No.
Okay, 99.70.
Oh, that's us.
Wow, right under budget. That should be a bonus.
I'm actually very impressed today. A lot of these guys came in with, just really focused and wanting to learn about what they should be eating, asking the right questions.
Good math. That's why we have a college guy on our team, to do the quick math. Let that boil. Watch your head. We need a...
Are you mic'd up?
No. You are?
Yeah.
Hey, how much should I put in there? You've cut pepper before? Yeah, I'm going on a tour. Oh. Shish kebabs. That's a good play. What do you got on there? Honey and
flour and honey.
Yeah, flour and honey. Theirs tastes so much better than ours.
It's been really good. Everyone's brought some skills. They're learning a lot, I think, as well. So far, there hasn't been any sabotaging, which I'm pretty impressed with. I thought maybe there'd be some salt switched with sugar, but they're doing really good.
It's wild salmon. Wild salmon. It's wild.
The individual winning team is team number 7.
As we bring you back inside the South Okanagan Event Center, let's take a look back at the opening period, and the Jets jump on the board early, 6:46 in. First of 2 on the day for Andrew Kopp and Nikolai Ehlers, along with their last line mate, Michael Spacek, able to find their way onto all 3 goals. How about that pass from Ehlers? That's the 2-0 goal. Jets think they make it 3-0, which they legitimately do, but the goal gets waved off right in the middle of the net. Yuri Frank should have got credit.
Yep.
You can see the puck coming out of the net. Referee back on below the goal line, though, says no. So that was still 2-0 at that point, and then a late goal by the Oilers. And it was Loiseau that was able to put it home. Puck changes direction in front of Eric Comrie. So it's a 2-1 lead for Winnipeg. Shots on goal in that first period, 16-7 Jets. And both teams right now 0 for 3 on the power play.
Andrew Kopp, captain from the University of Michigan. I tell you, that school has been kind to the Winnipeg Jets. When you look at Jacob Trouba, it seems like just yesterday he was at this tournament and he stood out and was one of those players that everyone would believe would be on the Jets and an impact player, and that's what he has been. And Andrew Kopp trying to make an impact here as well. Brian, you talked about the opportunity he may have at the NHL level. Players like Josh Winquist are more, at this point, dedicated to the AHL level, as Edmonton will have its affiliate now in Bakersfield, a long ways away compared to where the Jets have their affiliate. Like, oh, hey, there's the Moose right there.
On the other side of the arena, yeah. But when the players get down, the warm California sun will ease it just a little bit.
We're just about set for period number 2. A couple of Western Hockey League standouts, Leon Draisaitl and Nick Petan, get us underway as Jimmy Lodge and Caleb Jones are in the penalty box, but Jones just about set to get out as his penalty is over with, and the Edmonton Oilers now on the power play for over a minute and a half. I take that back, no longer on the power play, as Josh Winquist got tangled up with Chase DeLeo, and so Winquist will head to the penalty box and DeLeo will get his stick, and we're no longer in a man advantage situation.
Nope, didn't last long, and it's kind of been that scenario here a few different times on the afternoon. Just 28 seconds gone in that initial penalty to Jimmy Lodge of the Jets. And here it is right now, just more or less got the stick in there. He brought him down, easy call for the officials, so we're right back here to 4-on-4 play.
Leon Draisaitl, who has been the talk of many regarding as the shot goes on net and the save by Laurikainen, whether he'll play center or wing at the NHL level, whether he'll be at the NHL level. He won that draw late in the first for the Oilers to get that goal by Kevin Davis, or Alex Loiseau. It was Davis that took the shot. Kosmachuk has it slide off his stick as Olsen and LeVay went in and around the same time as the puck. And there is Loiseau, captain from Rimouski. Funny bounce. Who gets to it first? It is Olsen. But the Oilers keep it in. LeVay will dump it behind for Marco Waugh. Wraparound by Waugh. Still out front. Can he get to it? He can't. Morrissey does. And Olsen will send that down the ice. So the Oilers had a late jump in period 1, and it seems to have continued in period 2. Caleb Jones making his way through center ice into the Jet zone out front, and it will go all the way back to Laurikainen. Lead pass to Waugh, couldn't find Soy, and here comes Matteo Gennaro, whose cousin is Fernando Pisani. Actually, Fernando was in Penticton.
Good bloodlines.
Yeah. Well, you were there 2006.
Yeah, what a run that was.
Fernando, actually, he might have been voted mayor even if he didn't want to be.
Scored some big goals in the postseason.
Stojkovic gets it back to the point. Power play chance now for Ehlers and the Jets. Harkins trying to get it back. And Winquist will be out of the box and jumps right into the play as Rankin flips it to himself and then is taken off the play by Stojkovic. Here's Ehlers with some time and space and tries to get it to Gennaro. Ehlers will get it to Gennaro, and that shot caught up in the equipment out front. Shot by
Serval.
The Jets. And it looked like it was going to get through, but instead it was stopped. Waltz's shot. And now Comrie is able to make the save. And here comes Ehlers again. Gets by the linesman, trying to get by Cole Sanford. He can't quite do it. Kicks it ahead. Here's Patan weaving back to Ehlers. Watching those guys give you a headache if you're the opposing team. Boy, are they shifty.
Yeah, there's some skill on the ice there as Serval loses an edge. That's one thing in today's game. I think when you look at the fact, for the most part, for both teams with some of the top-end talent not involved here, that the coaches have had to shuffle things around a little bit, and right now it's paid off.
And there's Patan out front. Kosmachuk gets it to him. Stojkovic. Shot from the point by Noger gets deflected, and now Betker and Kosmachuk getting involved in front of the net.
Boy, Ben Betker's a big kid, isn't he? When you look at the presence that he creates right at the top of the goal there at 6'6". Last scoring chance here for Winnipeg. Nelson Noger's shot ricocheting just wide, goes up over the glass. Jets, that's one thing they've done better here today. They've got 19 shots on goal, and they've just tried to generate a little bit more. They want to funnel it down to the net, and I guess you're not going to get it in if you don't shoot, and that has been an area where in the first 2 games they weren't as successful in that department. Looks like we're going to get a delay of game call here. It is indeed. Puck went off the near side wall, and Winnipeg will head to the power play.
Yeah, look, LeVay back in the corner there, just kind of got 2 under it.
That's the 56-degree wedge.
Have you golfed while you've been here?
We did. Beautiful day out at Fairview Mountain. After practice on the off day?
No, it's okay. You don't have to justify, bud.
No, I'm just telling you when we played.
Oh, okay. You looked at me like I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, no, it was actually good. We had a great round, and right behind us, Kelly Buchberger was out there, Bob Nicholson, Kevin Lowe, Scott Housen.
Well, we have a chance. What'd you shoot?
82.
Oh, is that normal for you? Or?
That's good for me.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
With rental clubs.
With
I might come back and buy the driver, though.
Well, we had a drive from the slot there, or the face-off circle, that doesn't get by Larakainen, who's settled in a little bit here on the part of the Oilers. In fact, the entire Edmonton team settling in after the Jets came out flying in the opening period of play. Josh Morrissey, who's talked about his fitness routine changing. It's funny, Brian, with these kids, one of the first things you ask after you haven't seen them for a while, did you put on weight? Did you put on weight, muscle? And he did last year, but it seemed like it worked the opposite effect for his game.
Yeah, Craig Slonwhite, the director of fitness for the Jets, has really done a good job on the nutrition side of it here. And the one thing that all these players you see, and you look at how the game has changed over the last 5, 10, 15 years now, is just what the players put into their body on a regular basis now. There's so much more talk about it, and I guess a little bit more knowledge in that regard too.
Petan the shot, and Larakainen the save. Platzer gets it up to Rankin, trying to go around Petan, who shows some defensive abilities there in an out-of-position play for the usual centerman. Rankin coming right back, and the Jets getting a bit crossed up at the blue line. Petan and Morrissey. Rankin out to Platzer. Oh, big save by Comrie.
Good pass by Rankin.
Yeah, Petan and Morrissey got a little bit mixed up, giving Rankin some space, and he had a great setup for Platzer and an even better stop by Comrie. There's Kevin Davis, who got the assist on the only goal so far on the part of Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl from that corner had a wicked backhand pass on Saturday that led to one of Edmonton's goals. And here's some rough stuff developing out of the corner. Shot, and Larakainen will make the stop on Harkins as Betker and Olsen were eyeing each other up.
Thought he had some room stick side, but A2 Larakainen has been able to stand the top of his crease. Here's the Edmonton chance, first of all, in the pass that Rankin was able to put onto Platzer's stick and probably got in just a little bit too tight there before he could make a move back in behind the defense. And Eric Comrie out at the top of the crease took away some net, and then 200 feet down the other way, you see the scoring chance for Winnipeg, that Larakainen was good enough to make the stop and keep his club to within one here.
Larakainen, signed by the Edmonton Oilers, former member of the Swift Current Broncos, who, well, just things weren't going quite right for him, but they did on this play.
Yeah, last chance, and thought there was a little bit of daylight there stick side, but there was not.
There goes the stick of Caleb Jones. So the Oilers minus a stick. Winquist will give it to Jones, so his stick did make a nice play there. It's pretty good. His broken stick intercepted a pass.
You get credit
now,
for an assist on that if it's your stick and the puck hits it?
Winquist will go get a stick, so I think we're even now. Marcus Karlstrom will get to it. And here's Jimmy Lodge. Wrist shot by Lodge, goes off Jones. Again, the stick comes into play. Winquist gets it over to Loiseau, who's got the only goal for Edmonton. The Winnipeg Jets will be short-handed here.
Holding call. Jimmy Lodge is going to go back to the box for a second time here. Edmonton will try and tie, still looking for their first power play of this game. They've scored 3 in the tournament coming in here today, which was the most efficient of the 4 teams. Flames and Canucks will play later on here today to wrap up this year's event. Then the Penticton V's take over their home again here in the BC Hockey League.
Joey LaLeggia, Edmonton Oiler, who's not playing today, as that skips all the way down to Larakainen. Spent 3 seasons with the Penticton V's. In fact, I did see the V's out yesterday watching the Edmonton Oilers skate.
Yep. Brendan O'Donnell played as well here.
Shot by Winquist, goes wide. Weird hop. Oh, great play by LeVay to keep that in. Draisaitl shoots. Stick save by Comrie. Braden Christopher back to LeVay. Off the end boards, over to Draisaitl. The MasterCard Memorial Cup MVP taking his time, gets to Christopher, scores! Braden Christopher on the doorstep, goes upstairs to tie this game at 2.
Second power play goal of the weekend here for him. That's his third of the event, and wow, did he actually make quick hands, and he was able to put it right underneath the crossbar. And the Oilers have now scored back-to-back goals to tie this game at 2. And here's the play, the give and go. Draisaitl, the patience that he possesses there along the near side corner. And then boom, right upstairs. Didn't need a lot of time to have it onto his stick before he was able to lift it up and go shelf high to the stick side.
It looked like Loiseau was the one who kind of poked that ahead to Braden Christopher. And so Edmonton getting themselves back into this hockey game. In fact, yesterday Connor McDavid was asked about, some teammates that he would not have known much about, who he's just met at the development camp and then coming into this event. And he mentioned Braden Christopher as someone that impressed him. And I'm sure Christopher's been impressing the Edmonton Oilers as well with what he's done at this tournament so far. If you just joining in.
Well, he put up 59 points last year in Regina, third year with the Pats, and 26 goals that he scored is pretty impressive for John Paddock's team.
So it's a man advantage goal. It is Draisaitl and Loiseau with the assist. The Oilers with 2 goals on 12 shots. And so we're back to even between the Jets and Edmonton. Sanford tries to get it out to Jones as, boy, this Caleb Jones, I know Seth Jones can skate, but his younger brother Caleb also with a good set of wheels.
Good athletic pedigree in that family.
Yeah, father Popeye Jones, 11 seasons in the NBA. Currently an assistant coach with Indiana. It's Petan. Has that intercepted by Ethan Bear, and then Petan runs into Bear. That's dumped in by Gennaro. And there's Jones again to Lineker. So we'll see how the Jets respond after really owning much of this game until that goal late in the first.
Yeah, 3 seconds remaining. They gave up that goal, and you're right. The first 17 minutes of that period was the best frame that the Jets have played this weekend.
Ooh, the shot by Bear got through. Stojkovic saw it before anybody else. Ball with Lineker. Lineker gets it back, taken to the ice. Stojkovic will get it up ahead to Matteo Gennaro. Here comes Harkins with some space, no stick for Bears, so a little more opportunity for Harkins. Instead, here comes Draisaitl screaming through the center ice area. Waiting, he's got Colton Waltz's shot, and the save by Comrie. Boy, did Draisaitl wait a long time for that trailer, but he did eventually show up.
Oh, you just see where at some point he's at that next level already and can just make things happen. And I think that's the most exciting part for Leon Draisaitl fans is when you get into training camp Thursday, Friday, and start being on the ice with some of those NHL veterans that can think the game like you can and know where to be in the right situation. It poses some good things in the offensive zone.
Draisaitl has that taken away. Kopp with 2 goals to Ehlers, trying to break in. Ehlers upstairs. Laura Kynan got the shoulder on that. LeVay and Winquist battling with Kopp. Ehlers comes in a little late. Winnipeg, though, Morrissey will keep it in. Just temporarily as Winquist. Miss Marco Roy. Morrissey patiently making his way through the center ice area, and Kopp will just slap it in. 9 minutes left in period number 2. Brian Munns along with Gene Principe. Final day of the 2015 Young Stars Tournament. Anton Slepyshev gets rattled into the boards by Ryan Olsen, who you've talked about a lot today as a guy who's had an impressive tournament.
Yeah, really physical presence, and he'll knock Loiseau in front of the Edmonton bench as well, but he gets caught.
Caleb Jones' shot, and Eric Comrie will make the save. As the Edmonton Oilers have evened this game at 2. The Young Stars Tournament brought to you by our title sponsor, Sport Check.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Andrew Kopp had the 2 goals to get this game underway today for the Winnipeg Jets to give them the 2-0 advantage. Oilers have been able to come back and get the last 2, which has us on even ground right now. You look at the last few years at the University of Michigan, he was the captain. And right down the middle, everybody's got their various depth charts in which they believe that Paul Maurice could use in that first regular season game when the Jets open up with a 4-game road trip in Boston against the Bruins. And Jim Slater moving on after a decade with the organization. Right now, you'd believe that Kopp could be that 4th-line center behind Brian Little, Mark Scheifele. And here's the goals that he's been able to put in. Michael Spacek and Nikolai Ehlers with assists on both so far. That was the first, and here's the second on that great touch pass. And no problem for Kopp, who's on the board here today. Now he needs another one to try and get his club the lead back, Gene.
Yeah, and he had that chance. Remember, Brian, early after the 2 goals, he had a 3rd opportunity, almost had the natural hat trick. Chance out front by the Oilers as Winquist was able to get it to Slepyshev, who does have 1 goal on the tournament. Slepyshev, whose English is, well, he's here, but his English hasn't quite arrived yet, something he's learning. Loiseau tried to sneak one in on the short side, but Eric Comrie stacked his body up against the post and was able to make that stop.
Your Russian's probably not as good as his English, though.
My Russian, yeah, niet.
Niet. Vodka. That's about it.
Well, Slepyshev, they hope, will take it to the niet when he starts playing in the organization.
Uncle. We don't spend enough time together anymore, do we?
Playing behind the corner there. It looks like, well, play's been stopped. I'm not sure if someone is hurt from the Oilers. That's Rankin on the bottom.
Yeah, Stojkovic is on top of him and wasn't very happy and just kind of decided to lay there for a while, still having a few words for him. It's almost like he was waiting for him to get up and go, and then he wouldn't let him up. So referee Schlenker goes over and says, you can both sit down for a couple of minutes here and calm the Jets. Rankin's not sure why. He's getting a penalty.
He did get tossed to the ice, but
partially in agreement with him in that regard. But
it didn't seem like he did much. You're right,
no.
Brian.
It's been an interesting game today.
Well, something certainly was said in the first intermission for the Oilers to get it going. Shot! That just goes wide, and Kyle Platzer looks upstairs to the heavens saying, how did I not hit the net at least, as he was wide open in the slot.
Good release.
Nick Patan, the spinorama, still got it. Had quite a lot of 4-on-4 hockey today, in fact,
there has
with these two teams.
It's the most we've seen this weekend.
Yeah, and if, well, we're still a long ways away from overtime, but if they ever get to it, it would be 3-on-3. Waltz tries to get it across, but Patan will intercept. Kosmachuk, who was very impressive last year at the tournament, stripped to the puck. Richard Bukarts. Bukarts a shot, and that goes wide. Betker looking for someone to head into the corner, and Bukarts is there first, but he's met by Karlstrom. Braden Christopher, 3 goals so far in Game 3 for him and the Edmonton Oilers. 14 goals by the Oilers so far in the event. DeLeo waiting, shooting, saved by Laura Kynan. Nice job by Ehlers to set the screen as he jumped through. Here's Christopher coming back. Seville takes him down.
This
So
will be a
Braden Christopher.
power play. And a 5-on, no, it won't be 5-on-3. Be 4-on-3. Jets defense have been caught a little bit flat-footed here. You take a look at the takedown penalty on Stojkovic, and you look at this one, hooking minor assessed to Serval. Edmonton able to use their speed a little bit here as the second period is continued on. As Christopher's had a heck of a weekend.
Well, Serval, a 3rd-round pick, 78th overall in 2011, and he looks like Stojkovic. They similar builds and size. And so Edmonton with their best opportunity now to take the lead in this hockey game. Lots of space, 4-on-3 as mentioned by Brian. 18 seconds left in the coincidental minors before it'll go 5-on-4. Draisaitl, no rush right now. A little soft pass. Winquist the shot. Boy, Draisaitl just taking his time.
Yeah.
Making
No
a
rush.
nice little soft feed.
That's where you wait and see when he gets to the next level and he has an opportunity for a guy that can really let it go. Especially the way he was able to just sauce it over and put it right on his tape. That'll be a quick release that opposition netminders won't be too thrilled about. But also when you get to the next level with more NHL caliber players, he's not going to have that much time either.
Well, one of the best moves the Oilers made last year. He had 2 assists in his final NHL game, first multi-point game of his young career with the Oilers, and then Draisaitl had his rights moved back to the Western Hockey League with Kelowna, and we all know, in fact, you've got the 2 playoff leading scorers from last year's Western Hockey League postseason, Nick Petan and Leon Draisaitl up against each other, each finishing with 28 points. Then moved on to the MasterCard Memorial Cup, another 5 points, Stafford Smythe Trophy, and just a goal short of winning it all. Jones at the point, faking, waiting, gets it to Marco Roy. That's blocked by DeLeo. Now it comes. 45 seconds left in the power play, and there's Petan to DeLeo with some space. DeLeo, good effort by Braden Christopher on the back check. DeLeo, though, gets it back. As a look at the clock and keeps skating.
Yeah, he'll take the scenic route. He'll see another 25 seconds remaining on the penalty.
O'Donnell faking and then shooting, and that goes wide. That was an interesting sequence there on the part of DeLeo.
Time management, that's what it's all about.
Sanford wraps it around the boards. Edmonton might have, no, they won't have any more chances on this power play. Bears back to get it with Betker, and Serville's back on the ice. And we're at even strength, both clubs. Rankin, shot, saved by Comrie. And then Morrissey and Rankin bear hug each other to the ice.
Well, Rankin was trying to push Morrissey on top of the netminder Comrie, and Josh wanted to make sure that he didn't fall on his goalie, so he twists him over and ends up on top. He's not very happy about it. Here's the burst by Rankin into the offensive zone, and Comrie again showing good awareness as to where people are on the ice, comes out to challenge, and then a 3-point takedown by Morrissey.
Yeah, Joshua, well, I think Comrie would be most happy about that, not continuing that play, because he would have fell right on his back.
Well, and he's not the biggest guy either. 175 pounds.
Face-off win by Platzer. Rankin back on the ice out front. There's Sanford trying to get to it. Couldn't quite find it. Saw it, but stick wasn't able to reach it. Ehlers caught up by Betker. Play a little scrambly here as we go back and forth. Jets and Oilers. Kopp with the hit on Betker. And Spacek, no relation to Yaroslav Spacek, one-time member of the Oilers. Long-time member of the National Hockey League. Long shot. Easy stop for Comrie. Spacek has Ehlers wheel right by him, headed towards the net, but he's caught up by Kevin Davis. Harkins gets it back from Spacek. Thinks about shooting or going to the net, instead circles back into the corner. Edmonton just trying to chop it out, but Gennaro does a nice job of getting it into the corner and then off his skate. Otherwise, it would have been a chance to score for Gennaro. Servo wheeling back. Yuri Frank, who did score in the first period, even though it didn't count. Harkins has his pass intercepted, but it ends up on the stick of Serville. Frank on the other side, bumped into by Waltz. Braden Christopher there as well. Karlstrom keeps it alive, and behind the net it goes.
Jets get some good offensive zone time, just can't work anything to the front of the net as the Oilers had their players somewhat of a box situation between the hash marks and made it a little bit easier for Laurikainen, who had a lot of people around him in blue uniforms.
Draisaitl with a shot as he hopped off the bench, and that just trickled wide of Comrie. LeVay the shot off the back of Draisaitl. Draisaitl playing after Greg Chase was late scratch. We were kind of not led to believe, but we thought he would play more of a supporting role than a potential starring role, but he's been on the ice a lot, and he's got the puck, or he almost had the puck again. Oh, Draisaitl with a quick backhand pass, but that's intercepted and knocked out of the zone by O'Donnell. Petan, yes, with some help, will keep it in. Here's Jimmy Lodge. Lodge the shot. Laurikainen the save. Rebound. O'Donnell will get it back to the point, and it hops over the stick of the Jets defenseman. Draisaitl gets stopped and heads to the bench. You've got to remember, for some of these players, it's 3 games in 4 days, and it being an afternoon game, 3 games in 3.5 days.
Yeah, the Jets have had all 3 early games on this tournament. Started with the game against the Flames, continued on against Vancouver. They had a day off between those two and have gone back-to-back afternoons. They'll fly home immediately following this game and get ready for camp on Friday. Derek Comrie makes another decent save there, and biggest thing I've liked from Comrie's game today is there hasn't been a lot of rebounds. Puck is stuck to his body, and he's been able to do a decent job here with 43 seconds remaining. The most recent scoring chance here for the Oilers as Schlepikov was able to get outside on Stojkovic. And with that spinning shot, able to hold it underneath that right pad.
Well, the Jets will be careful. It's not as late as period 1, but they certainly don't want another last-minute goal scored here in period 2. That'll help. Kopp with the face-off victory on Loiseau. Serville around the boards. Spacek with the tip, and it just hops over the stick of Bear. Loiseau intercepted. Here comes Ehlers. Looked to drop it back to Spacek, but had it intercepted by Slepyshev. Spacek, nice job controlling the puck after some pressure on the part of a couple of Oilers, and this may do it. He's telling everybody, just calm down, look at the clock as it winds down. We're into the final seconds of period number 2, and we are done. Final shot by Nick Ehlers, a save by Eetu Laurikainen. So Edmonton and Winnipeg knotted up at a pair through a pair of periods. On the way, we'll spend some time with Edmonton captain through the first 2 games, Darnell Nurse, as he will chat with Oilers TV's Tom Gazzola. The 2015 Young Stars Classic Tournament in Penticton, brought to you by Sport Check.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Paul Maurice joining us behind the bench here on Jets TV. Paul, the first question, I mean, it's been a few months since we've talked at the NHL draft in Florida. How has the offseason been?
It was great, right? The standard answer is it's always too long, but it's our first summer here, and we spent all of our time here and found a place down the road on the lake to kind of get out to a couple of days a week. It was fantastic. It's the first year in 20 that we didn't go on tour and go visiting everybody. They came to see us, so we had a good time. My extended family that came up had a great time as well.
Awesome. I remember at the end of last season, you talked about the importance of when everybody returns for training camp, which now is only a couple short weeks away. You talked about the importance of having a clean slate, starting all over because it's going to be a new group of guys. Why is that important?
Well, clearly you want to take all your lessons and any of the progress you think you made last year, but I guess the mistake to get made at time is you think that somehow life gets easier because you had a bit of success the year prior. So we do. We start from scratch, from day one. We'll go back and reteach the foundations of our system, and most importantly, try to recreate from last year some of the competitive levels that we did get to. The things that we did succeed at aren't necessarily in the memory bank, but you have to recreate that emotion, that tenacity that we played with. So clean slate is the right idea. We come back with everything to prove and nothing in the bank yet.
Talked a lot about leadership last year as well. What role does leadership play in accomplishing that very thing that we just talked about, the clean slate and starting again, and then recreating those competitiveness levels?
Well, you see it so clearly from day one at training camp because we're sitting in the locker room of the players. This is their room, and at the end of the day, this is their team. So how those veteran players come back to camp, and it starts with their conditioning, how they look on the ice the first day, how hard they drive, is really the first opportunity for our young players, our Moose players now in town, but our draft picks, to see a National Hockey League level. And we're very fortunate, just with the guys that wear the season A's in our room, they're the hardest drivers that we have in practice every day. That leadership sets the tone for your organization, sets the tone for the Winnipeg Jets this year. But for all of those young players, they'll leave that ice after the first few days with a big eye-opening as to how hard you have to compete, more importantly, how hard our veterans compete.
And one more for you. It took almost 100 points to reach the NHL playoffs last year, and a boatload of Central Division teams made it. What, in your mind, makes the Central Division one of the toughest divisions in the National Hockey League?
Depth. The teams that we play against every night, depth in their forward group, and even in a team like Nashville, they all do something well. Nashville's defense is so incredibly strong compared to the rest of the hockey league. Chicago's won 3 Stanley Cups. St. Louis has been right there knocking on the door. Dallas continues to add offensive threats to their team. What's really interesting is almost each one of those teams, there was a point in the season where they weren't sure whether they were going to go make it. And that's true of the Chicago Blackhawks, who came in here, I think, at 95 points when we had 91, and there were still 8 or 9 games left. The Nashville Predators had a real tough stretch toward the end of the year. So the grind of being in that division, and Colorado finishes with 116 points the year before and misses the playoffs and finished last, and you know they're going to be a force with those young players here. Depth of talent, depth in core positions, and a lot of them, so maybe Dallas and our team and even Colorado are kind of new with new coaches and new systems, but the other teams are well ingrained in the style of play, good character, leadership. They're deep.
I can tell in your voice you're excited to get going this season.
I'm excited about being around these guys. I enjoyed from the day I walked into this locker room, this group of men. And it goes back to what I said earlier, those drivers, those guys that run practice, that push every day. The coaching in the NHL is never easy, and some days it's not overly enjoyable. But being in a locker room like this with these kind of men, it's what hockey's all about. I'm proud to be their coach, but I'm excited every day when I come in because I know how hard they're going to work. Never had a team where I thought as much about holding back in practice, not pushing them quite as hard in practice because they just go so hard. It's a fun place to work.
Back inside the South Okanagan Events Center, it's 2-2 after 2 between the Oilers and Jets rookies as we welcome in Darnell Nurse, a guy who played 2 games of this Young Stars Classic. Darnell, I'm sure it's nice to have a day off, but what did you think of the first 2 periods from your boys?
Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty gutsy effort to come back and get the game tied up. And it's something that's been a reoccurring factor over the last 3 games. I mean, we never really give up, so it's good to see.
Third time around for you here. What do you make of this tournament? And is it kind of a good Kickstarter for the season?
Yeah, I think a big thing with this tournament is just going out there and getting my feet under me. Obviously, the games aren't going to be perfect, and there's going to be some things to smooth out, but it's always good to go out there and get the first 2 under my belt.
How about off the ice? What's it like? Because you guys do rookie orientation camp in July, but what's this like? Is this a different beast? And how about the friendships you make? Because guys like you, Connor, and Leon Draisaitl are sort of the future, the next wave of the Oilers. And have you guys started to develop a bond and really blossom that?
Yeah, I think as a group, everyone's really close, especially us 3. I mean, we've had a great relationship over the course of the summer, keeping in touch, and it's always fun when we get together, and just looking forward to what lies ahead.
What lies ahead for you guys is also main camp. When you look at this year, I mean, you made the team last year out of camp, but when you look at this season, and you look at the depth at D on the Oilers, how do you kind of approach and analyze the situation there? And do you see a spot for yourself there? What's it going to take for you to really make an impression and knock someone out of that top 6 or 7?
Yeah, I don't really try to analyze it too much. Just go out there and play. And I know that it's really in my control if I go out and play the best of my abilities, and like I said, clean up some of the stuff that I've done so far. And, just be a force every day on the ice. I think my shot's pretty good, and I'm comfortable in saying that I expect myself to make it.
We saw you assert yourself physically the other day against Rasmus Andersson. It's one thing to do it against another prospect, but when you're playing against guys that are 30 years old, how tough is it to be a tougher young guy in the NHL?
Yeah, it's definitely tougher. Guys have done it for a long time, but I mean, that's part of my game. I go out there and try to play physical, and that's going to happen no matter how old the guy is or what position he's in. I'm going to have to stand up for myself if that's the way that I want to play.
How about the last calendar year you've had? You played in the OHL, you played in the World Junior Championship, you played in the AHL, you played in the NHL, you play in tournaments like this. What kind of learning curve is there, and what's that been like for you this last calendar season?
Yeah, it's been a great learning experience for me. Obviously, I play a lot of hockey and a lot of different levels. And I think playing at the highest levels has really showed me what I need to do and what I need to work on in order to get a spot and keep it. with that said, I've become a lot stronger, a lot better. I think the game a lot better over the course of the past year, and I think it's just for me just going out there and putting it all together.
What'd you learn in AHL playoff hockey?
I mean, the game's a lot tighter. When the team's life is on the line, guys are going out there working hard every shift. For me, it was great to be a part of that and play along the guys I played with. That they had a lot of experiences playing in that league and playing professionally, and just taking away their preparation and what they do every day to come to the rink.
Finally, on Wednesday, the rookies take on the Alberta Golden Bears. Always an entertaining game. What's it like to play in that one, and what kind of competition do the Golden Bears present to you guys?
Yeah, I think out of all the rookie games, it's probably the chippiest game. I think it's definitely a game where both teams were on their toes. The fans are great, so it's going to be fun. It's always a good experience, and it's always a great way to cap off the rookie part of the camp.
Darnell, thanks for doing this. We look forward to seeing you in training camp, and good luck on Wednesday against the Golden Bears.
Thank you.
Darnell Nurse and the Oilers rookies tied at 2 right now, heading into 3 with the Jets rookies. They take on the Golden Bears at Rexall Place, 7 o'clock on Wednesday.
I think it was just a family thing for the Comrie family. I mean, everyone kind of did it in our family. Started with my dad just getting my older brothers into hockey. They both went on to play in the NHL, and then I was born, and just kind of became the family routine, tradition. We all loved doing it, and we just picked up at a young age. I would say I'm a positional goaltender with athleticism. I try and make sure that I stay inside the box, but if I ever have to scramble, I have that ability to go outside and battle for the puck. Would probably be my brother, Mike, but then as a goaltender, I was always a Martin Brodeur fan when I was younger, and then as soon as I saw Carey Price win the shootout against USA in World Juniors, he became my favorite goalie. My favorite hockey memory would definitely be playing against the United States on New Year's Eve. That was a dream come true. I mean, playing in the Bell Center with tons of screaming fans. Second best fan base in the NHL besides Winnipeg. It was so much fun playing there and just hearing that crowd roar and all sport in Canada. I like to go fishing. I actually just got back from a salmon fishing trip. And I'll go to Pigeon Lake, Alberta, and do a lot of fishing there and just try to take it easy a little bit.
Those days are gone. Ryan Little, he'll take this to the scores! Matthew Perreault has his first as a Winnipeg Jet. It goes, save, rebound. Pavlik makes the save. Little scores! Ryan Little has the hat trick. Don't you worry, child. Brown walks in, scores! In behind Zielinski.
It's a special night for Winnipeg, a special night for this entire province. And shoots, and it's going to say, Rita scores! Leads it for Jacob Trouba, has the cross, scores! The Winnipeg Jets. Oh, here's Party, late move, Party in there, shoots, and it's going to say, Rita scores! Was fouled. Turnover, Little shoot, scores!
Great look back at the end of last season. Now we move forward and see which one of these young stars may have an opportunity to make the big club when the regular season gets underway. We know Eric Comrie will be with the Manitoba Moose to begin the year, but makes a couple of big saves early on in the second period before Christopher was able to score the lone goal in that frame. Some quick hands by the Regina Pat forward, making it a 2-2 affair where we sit right now. And then after that, Eric Comrie able to close the door on the frame, in which in that second period, the Oilers outshoot the Jets 11-9. Winnipeg has the advantage right now of 25-19. That man's got a goal, Gene Principe, today, but they didn't count it. Went right through the wickets. Would have made it well, right now, that was the third goal the Jets would have had, so Yuri Frank had it taken away. Platzer's had a big afternoon today for the Oilers. 20 more minutes here of regulation time. Final impressions before the teams will make their way back to Edmonton and Winnipeg respectively for main camp getting underway later on in the week.
And did I see correctly that 5 of the Jets 2015 draft picks, including the 2 first-rounders, are not here? I mean, we keep talking about McDavid and Draisaitl and Nurse, some recent picks. How good would the Jets be if some of their college prospects who weren't allowed to compete for eligibility reasons in this tournament? Wow, it'd be an even better looking club.
Yeah, the depth is there. That's one thing they've been able to do, is fill the cupboard over the last couple of seasons and get more than just the big name guys you see and watch on television every night.
Yeah, just saw Brendan Lemieux being interviewed. There's another big name kid, and first pick in the second round a couple of drafts ago, being interviewed on your radio station.
Well, and that's the fun part when you look, you know he's excited about getting into NHL preseason play coming up here in about 10 days or so, because you can go full out, and you know that that's where you're really trying to make an impression and get yourself a job in the big leagues.
Well, now a little bit of Nelson Nogier and Connor Rankin, Cole Sanford, former 50-goal scorer with the Medicine Hat Tigers, getting involved, and Nogier doesn't seem too concerned with Rankin and Sanford at this point.
Yeah, those players know each other from their time in the WHL. Last scoring chance here for Edmonton coming out of the corner. Again, calmly stopped and held on by Eric Comrie, and then Nogier and Rankin come in there. Sanford from his Western League days knows the opponent as well, and cooler heads will prevail here. By the way, we should mention Jan Kosteluk's got an upper body injury and will not return, so Winnipeg is down a defenseman to finish this one off. Hopefully he's okay.
And a defenseman that was down was Ben Betker, and he's going to be down in the penalty box if Josh Morrissey and the Jets don't score on this delayed penalty. There's Ehlers to Morrissey. Switching over with Spacek. Shot by Spacek, and a nice deflection by Petan. That just kind of trickled wide of Larakainen in the net.
Power play time for Winnipeg. 0 for 5 on the day. The big man Betker will sit down here for a couple of minutes or less. Here's the infraction on Nikolai Ehlers, and can't wrap your arms around a guy like that. It's too much speed for him to handle.
So the power play by the Jets, which has been full of, if not goals, momentum. It seems like they've had nothing but opportunities when up a man. We'll
Nick
try and have
been
that.
big in that regard along the right side wall, and he's out there now.
Marco Waugh dumps it in. And then gets run over by Petan, accidentally, but on purpose. Kosmachuk. And Penticton knows he's got to help at the blue line, and there is Ehlers. So it's those 4 forwards and Josh Morrissey, who sometimes thinks like a forward with his offensive abilities. Chase DeLeo and Penticton just switching positions. Shot from the point by Ehlers, and Laurikainen got that. Jets keep it in. Penticton. High pass, cross ice to Morrissey. Morrissey works the blue line to Penticton. Here's Ehlers. Shot, saved by Laurikainen. Rebound, Chase DeLeo. Scott Kosmachuk out front as well. Either DeLeo or Kosmachuk gets the goal, and the Jets have a lead.
Well, a power play goal, they're able to put it in. Took 71 seconds to capitalize, and there he is, 77. Chase DeLeo and Nick Penticton have been really good on the power play all afternoon and worked out efficiently well in that result here as the Jets are now 1 for 6. And there they are, Penticton, Nick Ehlers, and just working hard in front. Scott Kosmachuk making a play there as well, and the Jets have their lead back here today.
Off the back of Laurikainen, it looked like, as Chase DeLeo sends it out front, and Laurikainen with some bad luck, but we were just discussing the power play. Almost deceiving it's their first goal, considering they've been impressive every time with the man advantage.
That's the second power play goal for the Jets now here in the tournament.
So now the Jets have outdone themselves offensively.
2:20 the time of the goal. Sorry, Gene. Nick Ehlers picks up the lone assist.
1 goal in the opening game, 1 goal in game 2, and now 3 in game 3. So a little more of what the Jets players, fans, staff would like to see. And legitimately 3, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's their 4th of the day. They're only counting 3.
Winquist, the shot. Comrie, the save. Given away. Ethan Bear, the wrist shot, goes off the glass. Jones looked at Winquist, decided to keep it. Tries the wraparound. No. Looking for Winquist again. Gets it to him, but he's run hard into the boards. There's Caleb Jones. Got it again. Alexis Roiseau not able to keep it in, neither is Jones. And so the Oilers with a good response on that last shift after the goal by DeLeo. Dumped to center ice, and Ben Betker, who was in the penalty box on that power play goal. Here comes Sanford, wrist shot off the shoulder of Comrie. And up into the mesh, and here we go again. Noger and Sanford picking up where they left off a couple of shifts ago.
Well, and that's the thing right now is you take a look at players that might not be having the event that they would like. I know Noger came into the game -3 in the first couple and has had a couple of bad bounces go his way, so he's trying to spark himself and get things going mentally back in the right direction. You know what? This might be one way to do it. Show your staff, show your teammates here that you want to battle for your club, and that's what we saw.
Frank, get it out there. Sanford to Rankin, back to Sanford. Platzer waiting, shoots. And that goes off a stick wide. Sanford looking for potential contact, but he actually had some space in the corner. Betker will keep it in. Offside waved off. Chipped off the glass. Platzer will just get it to Sanford. Knocks it down, does Platzer, but Gennaro will knock it past him. Gene Principe, Brian Munns, game 1 of a doubleheader day, the final day at the 2015 Young Stars Tournament in Penticton. We may as well leave, the weather's turned.
Yes.
Yeah, after like 3 25 to 30 degree days. Today it's a little cooler, so
Mother Nature knew that hockey season's now upon us here, and it's time to get busy.
Ehlers shot, saved by Laurikainen, and then Ehlers isn't happy with Caleb Jones.
No, and Andrew Kopp will go over and make sure that Jones doesn't have any more opportunity to get towards Ehlers, who has a 3-point day going today. 3 assists. And the last burst into the offensive zone. He's got that great quick release.
Where does he fit, do you think, this year for the Jets? Do you think, I mean, what, I'm not trying to make you into Kevin Cheveldayoff, but can he kind of slide in there, you think?
Absolutely. I think if he plays the game that he can, he's in the top 9.
That's more than sliding in then.
Yes. I'll be really surprised if he's not there this year.
And you think it's a year, or is it see how he plays X amount of games? What is it, 9 games?
For
him to get a chance, do you think that he would spend the whole season there, I guess?
Yeah, I think he's a Jet this year.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, he can't go to the Moose because of the age, right? It's back to the Quebec League or he goes overseas. And I know his Halifax team has 2 imports already in the QMJHL, so that door seems to be closed for him. So I think we'll see him with the big club this year.
Well, 104 and 101 point seasons would suggest he's done about.
Great way to cap it off.
Yeah, that's about it. Time to move on, young man. Well, I tell you, Jets fans, I think he showed up. He said the last day, spent some time around the Jets and was so thrilled at just being around the environment. Imagine how thrilled he'd be playing in that environment.
It's what they all dream of here in this game, is to one day get a chance to play and put the jersey on with the big boys. All of a sudden, we're here.
Betker over to Bear. Here's Draisaitl, who's worn the jersey 37 times from a regular season standpoint for the Edmonton Oilers. But is he one player that could use some seasoning in the minors, something to be decided at training camp? Shot by Kosmachuk. Patan on the doorstep. Nice save by Laurikainen. Chase DeLeo. Shot goes wide. Betker and Lodge. I got one more question for you. I'll wait till he gets on the ice.
Okay.
It's Jimmy Lodge and Soy. Back to Roy. Drop pass. And that goes to Ryan Olsen. Olsen keeps it in. Cross ice pass. Oh, Laurikainen didn't see it, and Josh Morrissey scores. Josh Morrissey in from the blue line, ups the Jets' lead to 2. 4-2 the score.
Had the lone goal yesterday against the Vancouver Canucks, so make it a 2-game goal scoring streak there for the assistant captain. That's a big goal here with the push the Oilers have had since Winnipeg was able to take an early 2-0 lead. Ryan Olsen gets it all going, and Jimmy Lodge, the little drop pass. Olsen jumping right back in. And Morrissey able to get to the net front area. 3 Edmonton players right there. Just let Josh go in untouched, and it's 4-2.
You're not going to believe me. That's who I wanted to ask you about. How about Morrissey?
Well, a lot of excitement for obviously what he's been able to do in his career already. And with the Moose being in Winnipeg, it's going to be a great situation where there wouldn't be a lot of movement if he starts the year in the American Hockey League. Eric Comrie holding on to that rolling puck. Here's the announcement on the Morrissey goal. Jimmy Lodge will pick up a helper, as will Brendan O'Donnell, playing his first game today.
One thing about Winnipeg, after that trade with Buffalo, they, along with Bufflin and Trouba, I mean, they're stocked pretty well on that blue line.
Yeah. And then you throw in Adam Party and you throw in Mark Fraser and a bunch of different players that they've been able to either keep in the organization or add over the summer here. The Wild West is going to be, once again, and especially that Central Division, probably the most toughest thing to get through on that 82 game regular season calendar.
Jones ahead to Sanford. He'll just kind of inch it behind the net, and there is Morrissey playing in all 3 games for the Jets in this event. You know, for a day game on a work day and or school day. Large crowd here in Penticton at the South Okanagan Event Center. What a great facility, 2 ice surfaces. That's one of the big reasons that this event can be played.
Well, and it's continued to grow.
Yeah.
You know, even take a look around the upper concourse today where the scouts are in here. Not only is it Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary, but pretty much every National Hockey League team has at least one representative here to take a look at the young talent, also the free agents that are skating here and trying to make an impact.
Platzer has it stolen. Ehlers shoots. Oh, I think you know what that hit.
Quick release.
He was about an inch away from 4 points. Kopp, who's looked good, will dump that in. And the Oilers certainly missing some of their higher end talent with Nurse and no McDavid, but here comes Richard Bucharts. Oh, did that go through? Comrie out the other side.
I think he just got a piece of it.
Back they come. Shot from the point, deflected. Serval had the shot. So good chances happening at both ends. Richard Bucharts gets it to Lineker. Lineker trying to cut in, does. Comrie's there. Oh, what a deflection by Bucharts and a left pad save by Comrie. LeVay keeps Chase DeLeo from tracking that down and maybe causing more trouble for Edmonton. And we're midway through the third period between Winnipeg and Edmonton, and Eric Comrie's made some big stops in order for the Jets to continue to lead. Josh Morrissey with a goal as you are watching the 2015 Young Stars Tournament, brought to you by our title sponsor, Sport Check.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Not only is it development for the players in this game trying to make their mark, the officials as well. And Chris Schlenker is one of the 2 referees working the game here today, along with Mike Langen. Chris played 284 games in the Western Hockey League with the Regina Pats and the Prince Albert Raiders. 5th year now officiating in the WHL. He'll do a couple games in the American League. And talking to him before the game today, he says the NHL is a goal full-time as well, works law enforcement, so it's good to see those guys as well. And boy, you talk about players who have been able to up their game too. Nikolai Ehlers just missing on that one. It could have been his 4th point as 3 assists. And at the other end of the ice, Eric Comrie just as good as he turns away Christopher, who's got one of the goals here today for Edmonton.
Petan wins the face-off. I bet you Draisaitl and Petan, well, they've had enough of each other. They've seen a lot of each other, and I think they're going to see each other a lot more, unfortunately, if that's the case when it comes to both of them playing in the NHL. Soy crossed to Draisaitl, tried to get it out front to Marco Waugh, but that was intercepted. Kosmachuk dumped in. Caleb Jones getting the let him go from the referees. No interference. Noger the shot. Kevin Davis with an assist on the opening goal of the day on the part of Edmonton. Edmonton was down 2-0, tied it at 2, and now down again by 2. Batam will kind of slap that in as it went up high on him. Oh, out front, shot! Winquist scores! Josh Winquist from the slot gives Edmonton another goal and another life.
What a tournament it's been for Winquist. That's his 4th of the event. Had 3 goals coming in here today. Took a couple penalties earlier on that the coaching staff may not have been too thrilled with, but here he's able to get a big goal and cut this now to a 1-goal deficit. And he was left all alone as the Jet defense pairing, I don't want to say if it's a missed assignment or what, but he was able to sneak in there, and here we go. We got to finish now with 8.5 to go in a 1-goal game.
Winquist, 93 points his final season with Everett, and we're talking about the 2006 Cup run to the final in Game 7, and that's one of his best memories as a local kid watching the Edmonton Oilers. Favorite Oiler, Doug Waite. A pretty good role model when it comes to putting points on the board, which is what he's done at this tournament. One of those players on an AHL contract, but if he's able to do that in the AHL, he may get some interest in the NHL. Good tournament for him, and we talked about Braden Christopher and different players. Ryan Olsen, so many players from these teams having solid weekends.
Well, that's the first step when you look at the calendar here right now. Main camp gets underway on Thursday and Friday, respectively, here for these clubs, and that's a short time as well when they join in with the veterans with 3 or 4 days before the preseason calendar begins.
Loic Levay the shot, Eric Comrie with the save.
Last goal scored by Edmonton, 11:20 the time. Winquist from Loiseau. And again, Josh Winquist has 4 goals in the tournament. Don't know if he'll last a couple of games, but that youngster is looking forward to the Canucks. Coming up, Vancouver and Calgary will wrap up the event this afternoon.
Todd McClellan the other day on our streaming broadcast said, well, you know, we've got our eyes. Laura Kynan doesn't know where it is. Caleb Jones knows where it is, behind the net. Now out front to LeVay. But McClellan saying how generally you have your eyes on 2 or 3 players who you think will help the team immediately, and then others force you to watch them. And I'd say Winquist is one of those guys. Ehlers certainly is expected, as you said, to play in the NHL very, very soon, but lots of eyes on him today with the way he's played.
Well, it really is the who's next. You look at the players that have been in this event over the last couple of years, and now we see them on a regular basis on our daily routines, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, the Jets joining in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, to the Young Stars tournament. The event initiated in 2010. Back then, San Jose, Anaheim were involved. Now it's an all-Canadian affair. Draisaitl. Serville goes inside, outside. Good defensive play. Soy follows up. A little chip pass, lead pass does end up on the stick of Nick Ehlers. Oh, little chip shot there by Ehlers. Took a while to get to him, but he finally did have it on his blade.
They were on the same page, there's no question. The long alley-oop and little dribbler there.
Soy corrals it. Pushed off the puck and closing in on just 5 minutes left in this hockey game. Noger, well, actually, you mentioned, Brian, he's kind of picked it up after he got himself physically involved in front of the net and behind the net. Seems to be more engaged, playing a little bit better.
They'll be looking forward to a big year in Red Deer with the Memorial Cup and the Rebels hosting.
Braden Christopher, the shot. Christopher almost got it back, but Morrissey, a good defensive play. Yeah, the MasterCard Memorial Cup, which I know last year, I think a few people were wondering if Erie would get there, but instead Cole Castles, who's playing with the Vancouver Canucks. Hunter Smith with the Canucks. And the Oshawa Generals were winners. Now Morrissey, not happy about some treatment on the far side by Braden Christopher. Olsen will get it back to the point. Kostowicz to Olsen. Gets it to the net. Laurikainen just bats that away with his goal stick. Changes on the part of both teams. Caleb Jones, who says his brother doesn't give him too much advice, but I guess all you have to do is watch Seth Jones, and there's something to learn for his younger brother. Seth actually went to go watch him last year during the All-Star break. That's one of the things, they got no time to even watch him.
Yeah, just the calendar for everybody involved now with what you get going. That's a couple little vacations you have, and even those ones are now just 3-4 days. You look at the NHL All-Star break, Christmas.
I guess thanks to the internet, I know Seth was able to watch his brother a little bit, on his laptop, but there just isn't a lot of time when you're worrying about your own game and your own travel and everything goes with it. Loiseau gets it back. Out front, Loiseau scores! Alexis Loiseau goes 5-hole on Eric Comrie, and we've got a tie hockey game.
And that's his third point of the day. What a nifty move coming out of the corner. Absolutely no mistake as he shows the burst. And coming in this afternoon, he had only one shot on goal. Now he's got his third point. So he was able to dance Serval and slide it in by Eric Comrie. O'Donnell unable to get there either as well defensively for Winnipeg. And for the second time here today, the Oilers have erased a 2-goal deficit.
And trying for more. Loiseau, 96-point season with Rimouski, so he knows his way around the net. And headed to the net, now the penalty box will be Ben Betker after Franck made a nice charge towards the Oiler netminder.
Yeah, and he got beaten out of the corner there and takes his feet out from underneath. Jets have one power play goal here today. They're 1 for 6. This will be try number 7. Betker's been in the box here a couple of times now, and with 3:09 remaining, we'll see if the Jets can get their lead back. They've never trailed in this game. And again, Betker simply just being beaten off the wall and loses the battle.
Loiseau unassisted. That goes off a body or two and not sent out. Kosmachuk to Patan. Nice pass by DeLeo. Kosmachuk just didn't get enough of it.
Nick Ehlers working the point here on the power play now, and this is the first time we're seeing the Jets go with 4 forwards.
DeLeo. Morrissey with a stick tap, just waiting for a pass. Shot by Kosmachuk, and Laurikainen will make that save as Kosmachuk didn't quite get as much as he wanted on that.
75 seconds remaining in the power play here for the Jets. That's the 36th shot that it's made its way towards Laurikainen here this afternoon. 36-29, Winnipeg out shooting the Oilers to this point. And you referenced it, Gene. The puck was there, just bobbled a little bit on the one-time shot and didn't quite have everything he had hoped.
Well, Morrissey stays out, so does Ehlers. But elsewhere, changes. Laurikainen as Olsen and Spacek hit the ice along with Harkins. Now Morrissey coming back. Little drop pass. Harkins almost was able to squeeze through, but Davis and Bear combined to knock him off the puck, and 35 seconds now left in the Ben Betker penalty and power play advantage. Less than 2 in the game. Ehlers, oh, he is smooth.
Yep.
And he's got it back again. Cuts in the middle. Ehlers at the shot just goes wide. The side of the net. Pressure by Olsen, but it slid off the end of his stick. And I mentioned it in the second period, and it wasn't a tie game. But I should mention, if overtime is on the way, it'll be 3-on-3. 5-on-5 now. Pass deflected, goes high off the glass. O'Donnell back to the point. Wrist shot, deflection by Jimmy Lodge. That goes wide. We're into the final minute of play. Edmonton, Winnipeg, tied at 4. Draisaitl, maybe with a step on Karlstrom. Draisaitl shoots, saved by Comrie.
That's a big stop for Eric Comrie on the 30th shot of the day. Not the guy the Jets want to have bursting in this late in a contest. Leon Draisaitl knows what to do into the offensive zone and is able to burst around Marcus Karlstrom. Got a good shot away, but Comrie comes out to challenge.
Well, on his penalty shot the other day, he went 5-hole, and I wonder if he was thinking 5-hole. Loiseau had just scored 5-hole on Comrie, but nothing there as a netminder closed it up.
I'll be honest with you. I want this clock to run down quick. I want to see this 3-on-3.
That might be a bit fun. 4-on-4 has been great. So 3-on-3 should be outstanding for however long it lasts. We've got 25 seconds left in regulation. Draisaitl going wide. And spins. Chance for Bear the shot. Comrie the save. Rebound. They're banging away at it. And Comrie's not sure where it is.
Well, it's underneath his equipment, but he wasn't exactly sure as everybody crowds the house. And Comrie's able to stand his ground. Kosmachuk having conversations here with Soy. Little snicker there by Comrie. Again, the Oilers continuing to put pressure on here in the third period. Getting the last goal, cutting the deficit, and then tying it all up. It's been a fun day, and now it looks like we're going to get a timeout. Oilers have called their timeout.
So there's Keith McCambridge, who you're more than familiar with. Thompson, Manitoba, and his hometown. And there's Jerry Fleming, who's gone from assistant coach in OKC to head coach with the promotion and then departure of Todd Nelson. So two pretty young coaches. McCambridge is 41, Fleming 48, so both of them working their way up as well. In fact, I think McCambridge played 3 games with the Manitoba Moose.
Yes.
During his storied
playing days,
varied minor hockey league career and playing days, so he's kind of headed back home.
"15 seconds to go.
That was an important face-off. Won by the Jets. Ryan Olsen, though, sent that into his own bench.
Curious to see the camp that Ryan Olsen's able to have, and after a big year on the East Coast of the American Hockey League, learning that pro game as to what it'll translate here for him into year 2 in the American Hockey League, and if he gets an exhibition game with the Jets or not.
Draisaitl behind the net, gets it out front. Christopher, wrist shot, deflected. Draisaitl's got it back. 2-1, shot by Levain, the save by Comrie. And as a result, Edmonton and Winnipeg even at 4, so we are headed to overtime for a first time at the 2015 Young Stars Tournament.
14-13, the Oilers outshoot the Jets in the third period. Game shots favor Winnipeg 38-33. Let's step aside real quick, Gene. We've got a lot of excitement coming up as we continue the Young Stars Classic, brought to you by your friends at Sport Check.
Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Because right now, somebody else is doing more. They're pushing harder, putting in more hours. And it's starting to pay off. You may not know them, but they know you, and they're coming. So the next time you go down, will you stay down, make an excuse, Let them have your spot? Will you pack it in, go do something else? Or will you get back up? And get to work.
Quite a game we've seen here this afternoon in Penticton. Jets with the advantage of 2 goals at one point. Chase DeLeo's able to get one in the third period. Lorikainen, pardon me, able to not make that stop. Winquist gets his 4th point of the weekend. Loiseau as well. And it's been a busy, busy third scoring-wise on the 27 combined shots between these teams. Leon Draisaitl had a chance late in the third. Didn't score on Comrie. And here we go. 3-on-3.
Where is everybody? And both teams going with 2 forwards and a defenseman. Draisaitl, Winquist, and Caleb Jones for the Oilers. Petan, DeLeo, and Morrissey on the part of the Jets. Draisaitl around Petan, in on goal. Stick check off the puck. Wrapped around the boards. Morrissey's got his stick back, and Draisaitl's got the puck back. At least for a moment, until Chase DeLeo retrieves it. DeLeo circling. He's got Morrissey. Petan and DeLeo. Now DeLeo with some space, going in on goal. Gets the yell for Morrissey, tries to slam it home, but can't get it past Lorikainen. Petan tripped up, play continues. Winquist gets it to Draisaitl. Over a minute into this overtime. What a pass by Draisaitl. About 6 inches away from being right on the stick of Caleb Jones. And here comes Ehlers. Like what he needs is more space and time. Spinorama, Ehlers. That goes into the corner with Ryan Olsen retrieving it. Karlstrom now along the blue line. Slepyshev, who hasn't played much in the third period, with Loiseau and Loic Levay. The crowd almost seems waiting in anticipation. They're not sure what to do right now.
There's a little bit of edginess here right now.
Slepyshev around Karlstrom. Scott Levay at the point. Loiseau spinning. He's already got 2 goals. Love to get a hat trick. Maybe he will. Loiseau the wraparound. And Comrie the pad save.
He's been good today. This is the most noticeable game by far we've seen of 43 this weekend.
Olsen, if he could have got that to Kosmachuk, he was wide open. Morrissey back on the ice. Kosmachuk out front, backhand, scores! Scott Kosmachuk with the overtime winner for the Jets.
Bouncing puck and continue to stay on into the top of the crease, and with everyone else departing here for Edmonton, Kosmachuk is able to wrap up the weekend, and the Jets will celebrate their first win as Eric Comrie will make his way down the ice and join his teammates. The Jets get it done on the 41st shot of the hockey game. So there's no perfect weekend. Oilers were 2-0 coming in. They go 2-0-1, and Winnipeg's got something to smile about as they'll make their way to Kelowna and fly home for main camp, which gets underway Friday at MTS Iceplex.
2:09 in. Scott Kosmachuk does that all by himself. Not a lot of pressure from the Oilers. Both teams had already had a couple good chances, and he finishes it off.
Quite a hockey game. We see the teams combined for 9. Thought we saw a little bit more team game by both involved here, which is just familiarity. And overall, Penticton once again treating both the Jets and the Oilers to a great weekend, and now we've got one more to go. Coming up not too far from now, Joe Kenward and Pat Steinberg will be bringing us the Canucks and the Flames.
And so one of those teams will, with a victory today, wrap up their tournament with a couple of victories, and they will end up just a hair short, or at least a point short, of the Edmonton Oilers, who do get an extra point. And it wasn't long, only 209 of 3-on-3, but I kind of like it.
It was fun. You know, and you think about it now when you get to the NHL level and just the dynamic skill of the best players in the world. Do you go with 2 forwards? Do you go at one point? Do you go with 3 forwards? Or if your coaches aren't very happy to go with 3 defensemen, you never know how it'll all play out. But at the end of the night, that's what's going to be really exciting about the upcoming season. A lot of great plays by the young players, though, here today, as we all coin it the Young Stars Classic, and it was here today.
Yeah, some of these players really had their best games of the tournament. For our production crew and for Brian Munns, I'm Gene Principe saying so long and stay tuned for the closer, Vancouver and Calgary.